online or get in cars with strangers, and you order a stranger to pick you up online, like, and that's just what we do now. It's weird.
Anyway, here we are.
Anyways, I think we're good to start it.
I'm just waiting for 11 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
11
We should wait
o'clock.
till-
Oh, you got it? Now we're just.
Okay.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local access channel 18 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. And I should say this is the Board of Assessors meeting for October 5th. 6th, I'm sorry. And those in attendance are Dr. Joanna Buffington and Wendy Walsh and myself, Dave Hobbs. And Denise Lopez is unable to attend. And we also have Colleen Mercurio being the chief assessor.
Principal.
Principal, chief,
assessor.
deputy, goes by a
Awesome.
variety of
And
things.
many, and Alex Peterson, who is the field appraiser. And so we will start with the agenda for the regular minutes that we all received some time ago. Is there any discussion, changes, or
No.
if not,
Motion to approve the minutes of was
8/11/22.
August, okay, 11th.
It was, we skipped our September meeting,
Okay,
so it's
okay, good.
removed a month, so with
Okay.
this.
And all those in favor? Aye. Okay. The director's update.
Okay.
Oh, now that's your title. You're
Yep.
the director.
Okay. Yeah, that's a different one. Yeah, I've got 4, I guess. So in the office, we have, as you notice, if you've been into the office at all, we've had some rearranging of furniture and cabinets, and we have 2 new members in the office, not on the assessing team, but one from IT, Angela Hurwitz, who's in IT, who had been in the office before I started. She's back in a different location there. And also Rachel Nicholson, who is, I don't know what her technical title is, but she is part of the finance team.
Yeah.
And she's kind of working with us in assessing, Maya in the collector's office and Tina in accounting, and kind of, we have different projects that we're all working on to,
Nice.
specifically with us, she'll be helping come up with a kind of a system that we're going to use monthly to reconcile our overlay and make sure that everything is matching on a monthly basis instead of doing it less often. So it'll just be kind of cleaning things up, procedures, getting into place to make sure everything matches. So that's what you'll see in the office. As far as abatements go, as you know, we've sent out our fiscal 23 tax bills, and you were aware of the considerably large increase that most all properties saw. So we've been answering a lot of questions, as you can imagine,
Uh-huh.
a lot of value questions. And for the most part, many people are understanding of the fact that, the sales were crazy, and as a consequence, what they're seeing is crazy. But we have had a few that do have legitimacy when there's actually errors involved.
Uh-huh.
There were a few things, that we'll see when we get into the actual abatement applications, but maybe projects that were considered complete that are really still in the beginning stages. Upper stories added as an assumption that weren't really there. So changes that were made prior to January 1st, that we just kind of have to deal with now. We might not know all the details. I have reached out to John for a few things to see if there were any background that he could recall.
Has anyone called and noticed, number one, and called about the outdoor shower?
No
Okay, but
questions
just-
about that.
I'm curious,
Questions about that.
because you
So
can't really see, it's not added like a shed or a pool. It's actually, if you look in, there's an outdoor shower, yes, no, but somehow that value, it has a value on it.
Right.
It's incorporated into what, the main house? Or the land? Because I was trying to figure out where it was, just because
Right.
I'm obsessive compulsive.
I'm trying to visualize the field card. I think it's on the bat grid. Yeah.
It's part of the building,
attached,
right?
you know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
unusual to see one.
That
that's
makes sense,
detached.
but I wondered if anybody had noticed
Right.
that.
No, nobody had questioned
Okay.
that. They probably see that they have it.
The online kiosk thing updated or? no?
Yes.
It is. now.
Yeah, that has
Okay.
been updated.
I looked there and. a while ago.
Yeah, it takes a while, I know, and it seems like the report tends to be updated first. As opposed to I think of the field card as the one that usually has the picture in the middle.
Right.
And
If,
then the report is that white background one, and sometimes.
so the report is updated on a nightly basis.
Oh,
So sales will show in there that happened the day before.
okay.
When we
'cause-
close it at night, we kind of export the data and it goes over into
Okay, because
people
that's,
forms.
I've looked at and see that's the, you know,
Mhm.
and then the other one.
Right. The
takes
field
longer.
card is a different process where we work together with Steve from PK, and he kind of processes the whole thing and creates a file that then Paul Legg uploads to the GIS
Okay,
site. And he was having an issue. He had the file, but there was an issue with the app that uploads it.
Right.
So it took some
Okay.
time to get it up there.
okay.
So we're past that.
What do you do about people like me?
What?
Well,
What
we're
type are
talking
you?
about the shower. I just built mine out at the pool.
And I did the opposite. I
It'd be
took mine
part-
away. So what do you?
Well, if you
I-
took it away and you're being taxed for it,
Yeah,
then
that's-
you know,
Right, so I need
tell
to
us.
check and see if it's. if
tell us
it's
and we can
on
remove
there.
it. If you just have something in a detached area and we see it, we'd add it as a fixture, not an outdoor shower, probably if it doesn't have an enclosure, or if it has an
Well, it
enclosure.
does have an enclosure.
Okay, so would probably still, because I don't think you're able to add it as a code in the detached screen, so you'd add it as a code in the regular bat grid for the building and then make a note in the land. It would still be considered part of your building value, though.
But since I'm not being charged for it, I don't think, because I never got a permit, because I never,
Most of them don't have
Yeah.
permits. I don't know of
Only
any.
the ones we come to find
Just see,
through
yeah,
inspections.
There can
So,
be things that, you know, a permit hasn't been pulled for, but I go out there for something else and I see it, I'll pick that up during my
Right.
visit. Like if,
but would you go out to my pool?
well, I gotta confirm the data I have on my card. So if I'm going there, even if it's a roof, you know, while I'm there, I want to confirm that everything on your field card that I can observe is correct.
Okay, so you would go,
I would go out there.
okay, I'm
Yeah,
just curious. I'm not,
Provided that there's no signs telling me not to.
right, or
Or-
fences that are preventing,
Or if.
you wouldn't go through a fence
Or
I
if,
have a fence around my pool.
Mhm.
well, I wouldn't open your. fence
into the
to
pool
go
area,
to the
right?
pool
If you
area.
could-
So I would just go whatever's.
See what's there.
yeah,
Right,
But, yeah, we want to confirm, because a lot of times there's things that have been taken away, you know, I find
Right.
that there's no more deck.
Yeah.
So
mhm,
even if I go there for your roof, but if you have no deck and you didn't let us know, we want to take that off too. It's not
Right.
just about
Right.
picking things up that will bring new growth, but also
Right.
just making
just
sure everyone is
accuracy.
right.
fairly
overall.
assessed. So, yeah, I would take a walk around the property, provided that I can do that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I was wondering too about the properties I'd mentioned a while back with docks on the bay side, which is unusual. I know you keep track of the ones on the ocean side, but I didn't see those added yet, those ones with the deep water dock on Rock Harbor and the one on Eldridge Way that's out into the marsh across from Audubon. So I
Right.
just wondered if there's maybe you haven't been able to look at
Well-
those, or because those are worth a lot more than outdoor showers.
Right, and we did look at those. Those were some of the first visits that we actually did.
Yeah.
But when they're coming to our attention was beyond the January
Okay,
1st date, so
Gotcha.
it'd be fiscal 24.
Yep,
So,
gotcha.
and
Thanks.
it did open the door for a larger discussion about, a broader dock survey,
Right.
making sure. So we're trying to work with conservation because they have some records
Right,
that would have had to have been pulled, permitting wise or permission wise, or even impact wise. I think I don't,
right.
they
Yeah,
have
they're
more
supposed to.
documentation than we might have
Yeah,
gotten on
okay,
our end.
Great.
So baby steps.
Okay, super.
Okay, and as far as training goes, Alex is currently doing an online class. We have some upcoming Barnstable County Assessors meetings. The fall conference is going to be about the senior means exemption, which is different from the senior clause 41C exemption, kind of operates more along the lines of a residential exemption, but for seniors. I don't know enough about it, so we're going to this conference that's specifically focused on that, so we can just learn more. So that's kind of the training that we've been up to. And then we've also been focused on uncollectibles, taxes from prior years that the collector has deemed uncollectible. They've exhausted all means that they have, to collect it. So they come back to us to abate.
Right.
But there's a lot of behind the scenes steps that have to be in place. They have to be abated from, and they have to be hitting different accounts, like the provision for abatement. We consolidate that each year, so it can't hit the provision for abatement from 1998. It has to hit the present one, so that has to be updated in the background. So we're working on the moving pieces behind the scene before you can just go ahead and abate them all. But
Is that a large number?
there's only a few from each year. I mean, I have a stack. I think it brings us all the way up to 2018 from 1998, and there's
Yeah.
one for, on each page, and it's not even every year. There's probably 5 pages, so there's probably,
Pretty good.
yeah, they're pretty much up to date with it. I don't know how they were doing it before, but yeah, it'll be cleaned up a little bit more when we're through with it.
Great.
So that's all I have for an update. I think next up, billing commitments.
Yep.
So I have a few that have been issued, and you all had approved, to us to use the stamps for, but this is just the technical warrants themselves. So from the real estate, the fiscal 23 real estate tax bills, we have the real estate tax warrant, the personal property tax warrant, and this is the septic and water loan, so that's a separate. So I don't know if we want to just, do you need a pen? Yeah, I actually have a whole stack of pens. I brought a whole bunch for a reason. And just while you're doing that, I'll mention that as a whole, the finance department, we have put together under, Rich has really put it together. It's on SharePoint. So we're starting to, save our files and share them collectively. So, for instance, this warrant, I'll have copies of the signed warrant online. Then if the collector were to need it, she'll also have access to that file instead of keeping, multiple copies in everyone's drawers. We're trying to keep it on one point.
Do I sign this one too?
There's no lines, but if you just want to freestyle,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Do you need 3 signatures? Should I sign or not?
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, I think if you could, yeah.
Sure, I
doesn't
can just
hurt.
say Wendy Walsh alternate.
Yeah,
I'd
I
cross
think
out
maybe
these
some of them have,
or not.
maybe we don't have the alternate on there, but we,
No. But you can just
I could just
Just-
do.
Yeah,
that.
if you-
write your name underneath.
yeah, that would be perfect.
And then
And
Joanna, what are you a doctor of?
I'm a medical doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my specialty is public health and preventive medicine. So I spent my medical career as a disease investigator with CDC and did immunization program evaluations and work with health departments on public health stuff. So if you got something wrong with you, go see your doctor. It's not me. I know a little of all that other stuff, but I'm like way out of date.
I'll send this is more, I have the stamped copy here. This is
Okay.
more just for your knowledge. We did send out the 4th motor vehicle commitment. So if you want to just take a look at it, that's as we go through the year, they're not as large as
Do
we,
you want to do sorry,
Oh,
the third one?
should I? Okay, I didn't know if I should.
This says 2021.
oh, okay, I'll have to change that.
That says 2022, but yeah,
It says
Okay.
22.
okay. Oh, I won't touch it, but
Okay,
I want to fix
that'll
that.
have to be edited.
It's an easy fix.
Go look.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so next up on the list, it's just an update on the town acquisitions. There are several properties that were kind of floating around that I had brought up previously that were kind of in between that we had to abate off from the time period that the town acquired them through the remainder of the year. So at this point in time, we have payment received from them for their adjusted portions. So the other one, we had already requested the Board of Selectmen, or Select Board rather, sorry, to abate the remainder. So I've now put in the request that they request to abate the other two. So the wheels are turning and everything's in motion to get those off the books.
I partly asked this before, but
Mhm.
where is Zero Bridge Street?
There, I don't know. I'd have to pull it up on a map with its actual map and parcel, because I think there are a few zero bridge streets.
There are lots of
Yeah.
0 addresses, and it's usually when it's behind or off. Sometimes it'll be
Usually when it's undeveloped.
undeveloped
Yeah.
or undevelopable.
This one, I
Yeah.
think,
Either one.
Yeah.
Right, right.
maybe even
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
water. I
Yeah,
think this was like more marsh.
That's really.
It was donated.
yeah,
Zero Bridge Road is one that's kind of separate. It was donated, but we don't have a recorded deed yet. So we've been working with, I don't remember the lawyer's name from KP Law. Vicky
Oh,
Marsh, I
Greg.
think it is.
Greg, no.
I think it's Vicky on this
Oh,
one.
Vicky, okay.
And so it's been, from what I see, since 2018, that's when the actual donation occurred. And it's kind of gone back and forth, and it had been billed every year. It's still in the gentleman's name. It's going in care of the town. And it was billed and abated every year. So my question was, who owns this? We can't abate something that's not ours, really, so it needs to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll see. So there's a memo out to her again, saying, it's been several years now, let's find out what's happening here. So
yeah.
the Bridge Road one, that is still pending, so I'll keep you up to date with what happens with that one.
Are all the other properties now owned by the town?
Yes, the other three are more, well, yeah, as you can see, State Highway, Massasoit,
Yeah.
they're
Real property.
developed, real properties.
Yeah.
I mean, Town Plaza is one of them, but they're.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are all, that's more of a done deal. Okay, so next up, town report. I know I had sent that out to you. There were a couple edits. I did make the edit. I had a dollar sign somewhere. I was waiting to put the dollar figure in.
Yeah.
There was
The
something else.
median, that
Okay,
median price,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that I did update here.
That's amazing, going from 493 to 7 months, just
I know.
the median, no wonder nobody can live here.
Um, let's see here. And in the past, last year's did have more details. It's like it was written after the abatement period had closed, because they also listed how many applications we had received and what the total amount abated was. So, I mean, the request came in now, so I figured we'd get it in place. I suppose I could hold off and edit it later, but it's not really necessary to
Yeah.
add to the report, I don't think. It's public knowledge what we have, how many abatement requests we have, and the money that we allow. So I don't know if you want to hold off or approve it now and just submit it. They don't need it until January, is the
Yeah,
thing.
see, this is the thing, just, like the calendar year versus the fiscal year. So the annual report is a calendar year, and
Right.
humans make things like so complicated intentionally, but the
Yes.
report required is, it's FY 24. I don't know. I
don't even-
can't even keep track of it, but that's the problem. Is you can't get it, the calendar year report, because that's not the way it's done.
Right.
But every other report in the annual report is the calendar year,
Mhm.
except budget stuff.
Right.
So whatever.
I have to admit that
Yeah.
I actually got an email from Linda Sassy asking to write the report. And there was no way I was gonna even tackle it. So I went in and
Yeah.
asked Colleen about it, and
Yeah.
she had already known and looked
Yeah, I
up.
was on the email as well, so it got me thinking, well, that's gotta exist somewhere, so I looked through the records and found
Yeah,
what we could work off of.
And